In the last half of past century, Armenian classical music went through a strong burst of creativity. Important musical centers were opened like the Hall of Composers, Aram Khachaturian's Concert Hall, the Chamber Orchestra House, and the Sports Concert Hall. The Armenian composers surpassed the quality and lyricism of their predecessors in the fields of musical theater, symphony, chamber music, and romantic songs. The composers of the musical theater were Aram Khachaturian, Haro Stepanian, Konstantin Orbelian, Gevorg Armenian, Yervant Yerganian, Grigor Hachinian, Emin Aristakesian, and others. The most famous opera of the time was Avret Terterian's Ring of Fire, based on the 41 short stories of Boris Lavignol and poetry of Charin. Avret Terterian used his own symphony compositions for this opera as well as for the Soliloquy of Richard III ballet and the Earthquake opera. In the 70s and 80s, chamber theater started to form. Comedy opera was composed by Vartan Ajemian of Kikos. From the National Theater, Edgar Hovhannisyan's ballets were famous. In the Blue Nocturne, the composer was discussing his artistic existence, and in the Eternal Idol, he was picturing pagan Armenia. The Wonder was dedicated to the 100th anniversary of Komitas and described the life and labors of Armenian people. However, his greatest musical work was his David of Sassoon opera ballet. The symphonies of Avret Terterian have contributed to the development of Armenian symphony. He used aleatorica and sonario, serial techniques, and atonality in his symphonies. Pieces for the symphony orchestra were also composed during this period. One example is Alexander Spendiarian's Yerevan Etudes, Aram Khachaturian's Dance Suite, Grigor Yerizarian's Armenia Symphony Ballet, Ghazar Osarian's Armenia Symphony Bannon. One of the important genres of symphony is the concerto. Concertos for orchestral instruments were composed by Edward Baldasarian, Levon Chaosyan, Gayane Chepodarian, Armen Sampatian, Suren Zakarian, Gagik Hovund, Ruben Sarkisian, Rivanter Tatevosyan, Gerun Chudjian, Ghazar Osarian, Edward Hayryapetyan, Edward Abrahamian, Emin Aristakesian, Edgar Hovhannisyan, and Mikhail Kokchayev. Khachatur Avetisyan, Robert Zetrosyan, Grigor Hachinian, Yuri Gevorkian, and Arsaz Voskanyan composed concertos using traditional Armenian instruments. Concertos were also composed by combining two genres of classical music. Such works were Aram Khachaturian's Concerto Rhapsodies, Alexander Harutunian and Melik Mavisakalian's Fantasies, Ashot Zohrabian's Symphonies, Concerto Songs for the Chamber Orchestra, and Ruben Sarkisian Cello Concerto Symphony. The chamber orchestra is of significance in the Armenian classical music. It was developed by Zarer Sahakian, who was the director of Armenian National Chamber Orchestra. The most popular form is sonata for the traditional and non-traditional instruments, santur, canon, and taz. Edward Mirzoyan, Adam Khudoyan, Edgar Hovhannisyan, Alexander Harutunian, Gagik Hovund, Vahram Babayan, Tikran Mansourian, and others composed pieces for different instruments and the whole orchestra. Armenian songs started to develop in the 30s and the 40s by Mikhail Mirzoyan, Karo Zakarian, Armen Tikranian, Anushavan Dergevontian. Another set of songs was composed by Aram Khachaturian, Arno Babajanian, Alexander Ajemian, and Edgar Hovhannisyan. Edgar Hovhannisyan's last works, Erebuni Yerevan and Alpa Sevan, Songs for Voice and Symphony Orchestra, enjoyed a great popularity. Alexander Spentiarian, Romanos Mikhaelian, and Haros Stepanyan played a big role in the development of Armenian Romantic music. During the 50s and the 60s, the Armenian composers such as Aram Satunci, Stepan Gerbashian, Keruni Chutyan, and Tikran Mansuryan contributed to the Armenian Romantic music genre. They used poetry of Barui Sevak, Silva Kaputikian, Grashin, Varuzhan, Siamantov, Metzarens, Lorcan, and Aboline. Some of the most famous Romantic pieces are A Notebook of Sorrowful Lyrical Music by Tikran Mansuryan, who used the poetry of Kachatur Kecharens and Nahapet Kuchak, and 4 Hirans of Nahapet Kuchak as well. Arzas Boskanyan used Kuchak's 3 Hirans for his composition. Martun Israelian used Grigor Narekatsi's and Misak Metzaren's words for his Tagher book. Other noteworthy composers of this field were Ashot Zohrabyan, Yervant Yerganian, Kevor Karmenian, Vart Manukyan, Vartan Ajemian, Armenuhi Garapetyan, and Armen Sampati.